Hi guys, it turns out my microphone recording didn't actually work when I was recording this video, so instead I have done a narration. The reason I've just not re-recorded this is because it took 4 attempts to already record without the microphone issue. So please enjoy anyway, and hopefully I'll have a proper working video by next week. Hello and welcome to this video today involving the Class 221 Super Voyager and the Riveria line Exeter St to Paignton and beyond. So, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to set up the Super Voyager cab now. So what you can see is I'm about to put the key in. There we are, and start the engine. There should be 2 alarms that now sound. And I'll set the lights to day running as well. Still waiting for the alarm. There we are. TMS installation alarm. There should be a second one of them shortly. The exterior view of the Class 220. Also need to set the destination to Manchester Piccadilly, as that is where 1M29 will be operating to. As you can see, I've got the heads-up display down below just for departure time. Departure time from Paignton is 07:02. Just turn the tilt isolation off. I will talk about that later. That's the guard signal. As you can see, the TMS is still loading. There's the second alarm, so I'm going to cancel that now, and I can put the train into neutral. That's the AWS alarm, and now put the train into a forward position. Next is the NRM radio test score. You'll like this, by the way.
Welcome to the remote radio test unit. Please leave your message after the test.
This is an NRN radio test call.
This is an NRN radio test call.
Said you'd enjoy that. There isn't really much else to do apart from wait for departure now. The speed limit leaving Paignton, of course, is 20 miles per hour, but this will increase rather quickly after the level crossing to 40 miles per hour on our way to our next station stop, which is Torquay. Checking around the cab, everything's done. And you have this wonderful exterior shot of the Super Voyager. Just below 2 minutes now before departure of Paignton. The yellow light that is illuminated just makes it so that when you're on an exterior view, the alarms don't sound, because as default they would. So you can only hear the alarms of the train inside the cab. is available on UK Train Sim for you. Well, on the route, the session is available for you to download. There is a link down below if you would like to download the session, and it's for those who are not so familiar with the Super Voyager to give time to set up. Paignton, I will be taking the heads-up display off. I will refer to it throughout the route just to check times and station distances every now and then when I'm a bit unsure. This isn't a route I'm particularly familiar with. Just turn the driver's reminder appliance off, and we're about to depart now from Paignton. Remembering the speed limit from Paignton is 20 miles an hour. As we approach 20 miles an hour, I slowly cut the engine down to try and get the train to coast on 20 miles an hour, although I do know there's going to be an increase, as that speed sign just said, to 40 miles per hour. And I will increase speed as soon as we pass the trees that I've just zoomed into. Today we are driving a 5-car Super Voyager Class 221 multiple unit. The Super Voyager differs from the normal Voyager, the Class 220, as it has a tilt mechanism. As you can see, it's a tilting Voyager, and I've isolated it on this route. CrossCountry's Super Voyagers are now completely disabled from the tilt feature, as they do not use this on any part of the network. Virgin Super We are already approaching the tour station rather quickly. It's just after the bend to the left. The abandoned platforms are Abbott That's just shy of Abbott Junction, also known as Newton Abbott West Junction. Of 45 miles an hour. There is a slight increase or ascent to Newton Abbott plus the line advance rather rapidly. Shortly the speed limit will increase to 60 miles per hour and then it will decrease down to 55 and then 40 on approach into Newton Abbott. We will also be crossing the Exeter to Plymouth and then onwards to Paignton line as we have an arrival onto Newton Abbott platform 3. As you can see, the speed limit increases to 60 miles per hour. The top speed limit on the board is always the lower speed limit, and that is for freight train and non-multiple unit services. I think that excludes the HST, and they have to keep to a speed of 30 miles per hour. That's due to the better braking of the multiple units. Here are the abandoned platforms of King's Kirwell. We are now on approach to Newton Abbott West Junction. Just increasing the speed again to 60 miles an hour on the Voyager. The Super Voyager has a maximum speed of 125 miles per hour, which is 201 kilometers per hour. The range of the Voyager is 1,200 miles, which is 1,931 kilometers, and the total weight of a Super Voyager 5-car unit is 280.7 tons. It would be ideal here if there was a more board to drops to 55 miles per hour. I am also adding brakes slightly because I know there's going to be a speed change to a drop to 40 miles per hour. This is Newton Abbott West Junction. And the lines on the left hand side are those down to Plymouth and Paignton. As you can see, there is a feather indication on the aspect to indicate that we are crossing the lines. This is why there is a 40 miles per hour speed limit. As soon as the full train has crossed onto the main line as such, the speed will then increase to 60 miles per hour. I will be skipping the video slightly ahead because there is a 2-minute wait here at Newton Abbott. I need to turn the driver's reminder appliance off now. As you can see, the train won't start until I've turned off that driver's reminder appliance. The speed limit departing Newton Abbott is 60 miles per hour. Up very platform marker at Teignmouth is pretty much at the end of the platform. We do slightly overrun. As this is a 5-car multiple unit, this isn't a rather big issue. You also need to set the driver's reminder appliance. Which I'm currently failing to do. Of the Riveria plant. Our next station is Dawlish. The speed limit will increase to 75 miles per hour on this section, but will decrease to 60 miles per hour as we approach the tunnels into Dawlish. On departure from Dawlish, it is probably one of Britain's most famous sections of railway line along the coastline. That's a warning to say, as is displayed on the Morpeth board, that there is a drop to 60 miles per hour. So, the Super Voyagers were built, as well as the Voyagers, in 2001 and 2002 by Bombardier in Belgium and in the United Kingdom as a Virgin CrossCountry replacement of the HST units, as well as the loco hauled operation. However, HSTs were reintroduced by the CrossCountry franchise between 2007 and 2008. They are based at Central Rivers Depot in Paignton, Staffordshire. The Super Voyagers, of course, are shared between the Virgin West Coast and Riva CrossCountry franchises. On this route as well, operated by a Voyager or Super Voyager, is Britain's longest railway train service. This is a service that departs Abbott at 08:20 in the morning and arrives into Paignton at 20, Paignton into Penzance at 21:43 in the evening, and is made up of service 1 Victor 60. The journey is therefore 13 hours and 23 minutes. The Voyager is operated by the CrossCountry fleet are now also missing the shop or buffet section. That was to increase seating on the train. We are now approaching Dawlish. Platform at Dawlish is rather narrow, so if you do operate an express service, it is a good idea to slow down for this section. The town centre is on our left-hand side. As you can see, we are actually slightly late arriving into Dawlish, although we will make our on-time departure at 07:31 and 30 seconds. learned that I probably do sound the horn slightly early. However, that isn't necessarily a bad thing, as the Super Voyager is travelling at quite a high speed and gives plenty of floor. We have marine aspects now until our arrival into Exeter St. And we are now departing from the coastline of the English Riviera and slightly going inland. Our speed now increases to 100 miles per hour. You can hear the engine revving up on the Super Voyager. However, the cab is pretty much soundproof. And as a quick discussion, Super Voyagers and the Voyagers are 220 and 221. Do share commonality between themselves and can be used in multiple, as well as sharing commonality with the Class 222 Meridian and Pioneer units. However, the Class 220 and 221 Voyagers cannot operate in multiple with the Class 222 units. yellow aspect ahead. Has just sounded to remind us that there is a single yellow aspect ahead, which means that I will now be driving with caution, expecting the next signal to be displaying a red aspect. However, the next signal is past the platform at Exeter St David's. As you can see, we approach the platforms of Exeter St David's now. Pulling into platform 5, and this service will be continuating further to Manchester Piccadilly. We are also slightly ahead of our arrival, as our arrival should not be till 07:42 and 30 seconds. The departure from Exeter St David's is at 07:45. Really do hope you have enjoyed this train simulator video today on Train Simulator 2018. Down below is some information on the route. You can download the route, remember, on UK Train Sim, and there is some information linking you to the JustTrains Voyager Advanced and the route which I have used, the Riveria line on Steam. If you have enjoyed this video, please make sure you leave a like and comment. And if you are new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe today and hit that bell or notification bell. We'll also see you with a new train simulator video